The stars were quiet that night. But deep in space, far beyond Earth's solar system, something was moving. Something strange. On Earth, in a small control room filled with blinking lights and screens, Commander Alex Rios stared at the data coming in. The scientists had been watching this part of space for weeks now. But tonight, something changed. A signal. It was faint, almost lost in the noise of space. But it was there. A pattern. A message. No one could explain what it meant. The signal was coming from the same place where the mighty Draconian Armada had vanished years ago. The Draconians were known as one of the strongest space forces. Their huge warships had ruled the galaxy's borders for decades. Then, without warning, the entire Armada disappeared. No battles, no survivors, just silence. Many thought it was an attack, but no one ever found the truth. Now, this signal. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. He knew this was not just a random blip. Something was trying to send a message, but what and to whom? Far away, Captain Raina Vale was waking up from her sleep pod on Earth's newest spaceship, the Vanguard. She was the best pilot Earth had. Calm under pressure. Brave. She was chosen for a secret mission to find out what really happened to the Draconians. The orders had come this morning. Investigate the source of the strange signal. Report anything unusual. Do not engage unless necessary. Raina rubbed her eyes and put on her flight suit. The weight of the mission pressed down on her. She knew this journey could change everything. The Vanguard lifted off from Earth, leaving behind the blue planet and its worries. As the ship entered deep space, the silence grew thick. No stars twinkled close by, no friendly signals, only the cold void. The ship's sensors blinked as they scanned the dark emptiness ahead. Then, the signal appeared again, clearer this time. The ship's computers tried to decode it, but it was unlike anything Earth had seen. It was not a language, not music, not code. It was something else. Suddenly, the ship's alarms rang. Out! The Vanguard shook as if hit by an invisible force. Raina gripped the controls. Report, she ordered. Captain, her co-pilot said, voice tight with fear. There's something out there. Something moving fast. No ship signature. No life signs. But it's coming this way. Raina's heart beat faster. She looked out the front window, but all she saw was darkness. Then, a shadow appeared. Dark, huge, moving faster than anything they knew. It was impossible to tell its shape. It seemed to shift and flow like a cloud or smoke, but it moved with a purpose. A terrible purpose. The Vanguard tried to escape, but the shadow was too fast. It surrounded the ship, cold and heavy like a dark ocean. The ship's systems flickered. Lights went out for a moment. Raina's voice was steady, but inside she was scared. Hold together. Don't panic. Suddenly, the signal grew louder inside the ship. The strange message was no longer just sounds. It felt like a voice inside their minds. A whisper. Run. The word repeated over and over. Run! 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 Raina's hands trembled. What is this? She whispered. The shadow pulled away as fast as it had come, disappearing into the darkness of space. The Vanguard was shaken but still flying. Raina and her crew breathed deeply. They had survived. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. The Draconian Armada was gone. But now something worse might be out there. Raina's mission was no longer just about a missing fleet. It was about a threat no one understood. Something alive in the dark. Something that whispered in the silence of space. Scientists worked day and night to decode the signal. The message was not from the Draconians. It was older. More dangerous. Raina sat alone in her cabin, staring at the stars through the ship's window. The silence of space was not empty anymore. It was watching, waiting, and Earth was not ready. The day after Captain Raina's return, the whole Earth was talking about the strange signal and the dark shadow she saw. Everyone wanted answers, but no one had any. Reyna walked through the busy halls of Earth's Space Command Center. Her face was calm, but inside, her mind was full of questions. What was that shadow? Why did it whisper, "Run"? At the command center, she met Dr. Elric, a scientist known for his work on alien signals. He was a quiet man with sharp eyes and a mind that never stopped working. "We've never seen anything like this," Dr. Elric said, showing Reyna a screen full of strange symbols and sounds. "The signal is not from any known race. It's old, very old." Reyna looked at the screen. The signal repeated over and over, but the meaning was hidden deep inside the noise. Then the control room's doors opened suddenly. A small capsule had been found drifting near the edge of the signal's origin. Inside was a survivor, a Draconian engineer. He was weak and scared, his green skin pale and covered with scratches. His name was Varkas. When Varkas woke up, he looked around with wide eyes. He didn't speak at first, but when he saw Reyna, his body shook. "They know you're here," he whispered. Reyna sat next to him. "Who knows? What happened to your Armada?" Varkas took a deep breath. It was not an enemy ship, not a weapon, something worse. He closed his eyes and shivered. "We thought we were strong, but this thing, it ate our ships like they were made of paper. No sound, no fight, just darkness, and then nothing." Reyna listened carefully. She could see the fear in his eyes, a fear she had never seen in a warrior before. "Did it speak to you?" she asked softly. Varkas nodded. "Yes, it whispered to us, but not with words, with feelings, hate, anger, hunger. It wanted us to run, but we could not." Dr. Elric joined the conversation. "This fits what we're finding. The signal is a warning, but it's also a call. Something alive is in that darkness. Something powerful." Reyna felt a heavy weight on her chest. The mission had become more dangerous than she thought. The team decided to study Varkas carefully. They hoped he could help them understand the enemy. But Varkas was restless. He never stopped looking over his shoulder, as if the darkness was still following him. One night, Reyna found him staring out a window at the stars. "You still hear it?" she asked. He nodded slowly. "Always. The darkness. It calls to me in dreams. It shows me fire and destruction, and the faces of my lost crew." Reyna placed a hand on his shoulder. "We'll stop it. Together." But Varkas shook his head. "I don't know if anything can stop it. The Draconians were proud and strong. They never ran. But this thing, it is not like anything." The days passed. Scientists worked to unlock the secrets of the signal. Meanwhile, Reyna trained her team, preparing for the next trip into the unknown. Then, suddenly, the control center's alarms blared. The signal was changing. Faster now. More urgent. Dr. Elric stared at the screen. "It's moving closer to Earth." Reyna knew the truth. The darkness was not just watching. It was coming. The new mission was ready. Captain Reyna Vale stood on the bridge of the Vanguard, staring into the deep black of space. The strange signal was now much stronger. It was coming from a place no one dared to explore, the last known location of the Draconian Armada. Reyna's crew was tense. Everyone knew this trip could be dangerous, but they had to find out the truth. Earth needed answers. The Vanguard moved faster than ever, cutting through the cold dark like a knife. No stars around, no other ships, only the silence of space. As they reached the coordinates, the ship's sensors scanned carefully. The place was empty. No planets, no moons, no life. Only floating wreckage, broken pieces of the once powerful Draconian warships. Reyna looked at the ruins. The ships were torn apart, but no signs of battle. No scorch marks, no explosions. Just strange burns, like something had melted their metal. "Hulls, scan the area," Reyna ordered. The sensors beeped, showing strange markings on the wreckage, symbols burned into the metal. They looked alien, nothing like the Draconian language. Dr. Elric examined the symbols. These are not weapons marks. They look like warnings. Suddenly, the ship's alarms screamed. A dark energy field appeared on the sensor screen. It was huge, swirling slowly like a living storm. Energy readings are off the charts, said Reyna's co-pilot, Jax. It's pulling us closer. Reyna felt a cold sweat. Full power. Break free. But the energy field wrapped around the Vanguard, slowing the ship. The crew struggled to keep control. The field was heavy, like invisible chains. Then, shapes appeared inside the darkness, shifting, moving, shadows that did not belong to anything alive, but still had life. Captain, it's alive, Jax said, voice shaking. The darkness pulsed, and strange whispers filled the ship's comm system. The voices were soft but clear, warnings, threats, promises of destruction. Reyna's mind raced. Get us out of here, now! The Vanguard fired engines at full strength. The dark field resisted, but slowly the ship pulled free. As they escaped, Reyna saw one last vision through the ship's window, a flash of burning cities, screaming faces, and then nothing. Back on the bridge, the crew was silent. They had seen the truth. The darkness was not just empty space. It was a living nightmare. After escaping the dark energy field, the Vanguard drifted in deep space. The crew was shaken, their faces pale. No one spoke at first. The silence was heavy, thick, like a storm before the rain. Captain Reyna Vale stood by the window, staring into the black void. She felt something watching them, waiting. The ship's sensors began to pick up strange readings again, something growing nearby. It's the energy field, Jax said, his voice tight. It's coming back. The dark mass moved closer, like a shadow sliding over the stars. It wasn't just energy anymore. It seemed alive. It changed shape constantly, flowing like smoke but solid too. The crew called it the darkness. Suddenly the ship's lights flickered. The air felt colder. A quiet voice whispered in Reyna's mind, soft, slow, but clear. Reyna. She shivered but kept her calm. Who's there? She asked aloud. No answer. The crew gathered in the control room looking worried. Dr. Elric explained, This is unlike anything we know. The darkness seems to think, to feel. It's not just energy. It may be a living being, maybe even a predator. Reyna swallowed hard. A predator? In space? Yes, Elric said. Something ancient, maybe from before the stars formed. It hunts by swallowing light, life, hope. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. The darkness was near again. Shapes moved inside it. Faces, hands, twisting bodies that disappeared as fast as they came. Hold tight, Reyna shouted. The ship's systems flickered and failed for a few seconds. The darkness was pulling on them again, trying to drag them. And Reyna felt a sharp pain in her head, a voice, a feeling, a warning. You cannot stop me. Her vision blurred. She saw burning cities, screaming people, and then a terrible silence. When her vision cleared, she was back on the ship. The darkness had released them, for now. Reyna looked at her crew. We have to find a way to fight this. It's not just a force of nature. It's intelligent. Jax nodded. It knows us. It wants us to fear it, Dr. Elric added, and it's learning from us. Reyna's eyes burned with determination. Then we will show it what humanity can do. But deep inside, she feared the truth. The darkness was not just out there. It was inside their minds, waiting to strike again. Back. On Earth, the news of the Vanguard's close encounter with the darkness spread quickly. Panic grew among the people. The government held urgent meetings, scientists worked around the clock, and soldiers prepared for a fight they did not fully understand. Captain Reyna Vale was still aboard the Vanguard, deep in space, but Earth's fear reached her even here. The darkness was no longer just a distant threat. It was coming closer every day. Dr. Elric sat in his lab surrounded by old books and holograms. He was searching for any clue about the darkness. His eyes fell on an ancient text, the Codex of the Void. It spoke of a cosmic being called the Devourer. Elric read aloud, "The Devourer is a creature of endless hunger. It lives between stars, consuming light and life. It whispers in the dark to drive its prey mad before swallowing them whole." Reyna listened carefully during their communication link. Could this be the darkness? Suddenly, the ship's comm system crackled. Strange. Voices echoed through the corridors, soft, mocking, calling the crew's names. Reyna's heart pounded. The whispers promised power, secrets, and death. "They want us to surrender," Jack said, gripping his weapon tight. "But we can't listen." Reyna nodded. "We stand strong. We fight." Then, memories flooded Reyna's mind. She saw the final moments of the Draconian Armada, ships torn apart not by lasers but by a shadow that moved like living smoke. Varkas, the Draconian survivor, had said the same. It was not an attack. It was hunger. The darkness did not want war. It wanted to consume everything. Reyna turned to her crew. "We face something that is not just a battle of weapons. It's a battle for our minds, our will." As the darkness grew closer, Earth prepared its defenses. Warships gathered near the outer planets, ready to protect their home. But Reyna knew the fight would not be easy. The darkness whispered still, promising destruction, and Earth had to answer. The darkness was closer now. Earth's skies grew strange. Nights became longer, and stars seemed to vanish one by one. People looked up with fear, feeling the cold weight of the unknown pressing down. On the surface, cities prepared for war. Soldiers, trained, ships launched, and alarms echoed in every command center. But no one saw the real enemy. Captain Reyna Vale and the Vanguard raced back toward Earth. Their mission had changed. They had to warn the world and find a way to fight the living shadow. The ship's sensors picked up the dark energy field again. It hovered just outside Earth's orbit, a giant black cloud swallowing light. "This is it," Reyna said quietly. "The final battle." Inside the Vanguard, the crew worked tirelessly. They studied the darkness, looking for weakness, but the shadow was different every time. It learned, adapted, and grew stronger. Suddenly, the ship's systems flickered. A whisper echoed through the halls, a cold, soft voice. "Give up." Reyna clenched her fists. "Never." The darkness pulsed, sending waves of fear through the ship. Crew members struggled to keep their minds clear. Meanwhile, on Earth, HFY Council of Leaders gathered. They watched the black cloud on giant screens. Dr. Elric spoke with urgency. "This is not just a physical threat. It attacks our minds. If it reaches Earth, it could break humanity's will." The leaders nodded grimly. "What can we do?" Elric's voice was steady. "We must unite, and we must fight with more than weapons. We need courage and hope." Reyna's ship entered Earth's orbit. The darkness moved to surround the planet, like a hunter closing in on its prey. On the bridge, Reyna looked at the stars hidden by the black cloud. She whispered, "We will not let you win." As the darkness closed in, Earth's defenses activated. Warships fired lasers and missiles into the shadow, but the attacks barely slowed it down. The living shadow seemed to absorb every blast, growing darker and colder. Reyna turned to her crew. "Prepare for boarding. We may need to take the fight inside the darkness." The crew nodded, fear mixed with determination. Outside, the cold void waited. The battle for Earth's future had begun. The Vanguard was ready. Its engines burned bright. As it moved toward the black cloud, the living darkness that threatened Earth. Captain Reyna Vale stood firm on the bridge, eyes sharp. Her crew was tense but ready. They had trained for this moment. "This is no ordinary battle," Reyna said. "We face a force that feeds on fear and light. But we have something it doesn't. Hope. The ship's sensors showed the edge of the darkness. It looked like a swirling storm of black smoke, moving and changing shape. Reyna ordered, "Prepare the pulse cannons. We'll try to disrupt its energy core." Inside the darkness, strange shadows moved. Whispers tried to reach the crew's minds, tempting them to give up. But Reyna's voice was strong. "Hold on! Fight it!" The Vanguard fired the pulse cannons. Bright waves of energy hit the darkness, causing it to shudder. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. The darkness fought back, pulling the Vanguard deeper inside. The stars disappeared. The crew was surrounded by blackness and whispers. Then, from the depths of the darkness, a shape appeared. A massive, twisting form made of shadow and light, eyes glowing like dying stars. The crew gasped. The living darkness was not just a force. It was a creature. Reyna faced it. "Why do you hunt us?" The creature's voice was cold and deep. "I am the devourer. I consume to survive. Light is my food. You brought your wars and destruction. I am balance." Reyna's heart raced. "Earth does not want war. We want peace. You don't have to destroy us." The devourer laughed, a sound like thunder in the void. "Peace is a lie. I will take what is needed," Reyna thought fast. "If you take Earth's light, what will happen to you?" The creature paused. "I will fade, but hunger never dies." Reyna had an idea. "Let us help you find another way. A place where your hunger will not harm innocent worlds." No foe. Devourer studied her. Slowly, it withdrew from the Vanguard. Back on Earth, the black cloud began to shrink. Stars reappeared. Reyna and her crew returned as heroes. They had faced the living darkness and found a way to survive. But in the quiet space beyond, the devourer still waited. Hungry, but patient. The galaxy was safe, for now. The battle was over, but the future was still uncertain. Captain Reyna Vale and her crew returned to Earth to cheers and applause. The world breathed again, the skies clear and bright. But Reyna knew the peace was fragile. She stood before the leaders of Earth, sharing what they had learned from the devourer, the living darkness that almost destroyed them. "The devourer is a part of the universe's balance," she explained. "It needs light to survive, but it doesn't want to destroy. It only takes what it must." The leaders listened carefully. They agreed to send scientists and diplomats to help find a solution, a way for both humans and the devourer to live. Back on the Vanguard, Reyna looked at the stars. The galaxy was wide, full of mysteries and dangers. "We have a chance to make peace," she said quietly. "Not just with the devourer, but with all the unknown." Varkas, the Draconian survivor, nodded beside her. "We must be ready. The universe is bigger than we think." Earth began to prepare, not just for war, but for new alliances and discoveries. The darkness had taught them one thing. Fear can be strong, but hope is stronger. As the sun rose over Earth, Reyna smiled. New dawn was coming, and this time humanity would meet it ready. Peace had returned to Earth, but Captain Reyna Vale felt uneasy. The stars looked calm now, but something deep inside her told her the story was not finished. The devourer had withdrawn. Yes, but it was patient. Hungry. Waiting. On the Vanguard, Reyna studied new data from deep space scans. Strange signals echoed beyond the reach of the devourer's last attack, signals unlike anything humans or Draconians had seen before. Dr. Elric entered the bridge, holding a tablet full of information. These signals, they seemed to be a language. Old, but not from the devourer. Reyna raised an eyebrow. From who? Elric shook his head. We don't know, but the signals come from a distant part of the galaxy, beyond our maps. Varkas, still recovering from his trauma, looked worried. This could be another race, or something else, something dangerous. Reyna decided they had to investigate. Earth was safe, for now. But the galaxy was vast, and mysteries waited. The Vanguard prepared for a new journey. This time, they would travel beyond the known worlds, following the echoes of the strange signals. As the ship entered faster-than-light travel, Reyna thought about what they might find. New friends? New enemies? Or secrets that could change everything? Days passed in the endless black. The crew grew closer, sharing stories of Earth, Draconis, and dreams for the future. One night, as the Vanguard drifted near a glowing nebula, the ship's alarm suddenly rang out. "Unknown vessel approaching fast," Jax shouted. On the main screen, a strange ship appeared, sleek and silver, with glowing blue lights. It was unlike any design Reyna had ever seen. The vessel sent a message. "We have been watching. We know of your fight with the Devourer. We wish to meet." Reyna stared at the message. "Who are they?" Dr. Elric smiled. "Perhaps our first real contact with another advanced civilization." The Vanguard slowed and opened communications. A tall figure appeared on the screen, a being with bright eyes and calm presence. "I am Talon of the Seraphis Collective," the alien said. "Your courage against the darkness echoes across the stars. We come to offer alliance and knowledge." Reyna felt a mix of hope and caution. The galaxy was no longer a place of fear alone. It was a place of possibility. But the question remained. Could they trust the Seraphis? Or was this another challenge hidden in light and shadow? As the Vanguard prepared to meet the Seraphis fleet, Reyna looked once more at the stars. The journey was far from over. The echoes beyond were calling.